A. Scott Bolden is a former prosecutor in New York, now a white-collar criminal defense attorney. Shan Wu is a former federal prosecutor who served as counsel to Attorney General Jen Reno. They both join me now. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Scott, let's talk about this. It is fascinating to me that at this stage in the game, after the January 6th investigation, after all the stuff that's happening, Jack Smith is interviewing people whose name we didn't know, junior-ish people, but the effect was they were in the room. They know something. Tell me about this tactic. Why do we need to hear from this guy named William Russell, or probably a dozen, maybe tens more of people who we don't know and don't seem consequential?
Well, government prosecutors want to put together a thorough case, receive more information and more testimony than they probably need, but they've got to be thorough. In your introductory piece, you talked about he's putting together a mob case. Well, Donald Trump arguably was a political mob boss, not a really good one, because he kept talking to people, and those people now are being called into the grand jury. And so, but you can see that from a criminal, a political criminal crime family, if you will, what Smith is doing, right? So you start at the bottom. You put all these pieces, puzzles together, you get the documents, and then you get the witnesses, and you put them in one after another because you've interviewed them, and you put together your case based on factual support for the elements of these three crimes, alleged crimes. Now, Donald Trump got this target letter, right? 9 times out of 10, he's getting indicted in the next week or so. There's enough evidence. You don't send out a target letter to anyone unless, as a prosecutor, you have enough evidence to indict someone, right? In all my years as a white-collar criminal defense lawyer, I've never beat a target letter. Wow. They got indicted. He's facing 71 felony counts. You may have at least 2 more indictments. One of these cases or more is going to get tried, right? And if you don't plea out and you get convicted in state court and or federal court, and you've never been in trouble before, there's a high probability that you're going to be sentenced. I don't care whether you're a former president, whether you're running for office or not. The criminal justice system cares nothing about that, despite all the political machinations about this being weaponized, prosecutors and what have you. I can guarantee you every night, Donald Trump is thinking about his liberty and his freedom despite his bravado. I've represented business leaders, corporate CEOs, athletes, entertainers, and a lot of politicians who've run for office have been under indictment. And I can tell you, in their private moments with their lawyers and with their families, they're thinking about that future, and Donald Trump is worried about this now. But watch this claim. I think the smaller witnesses are still going in the grand jury because of the conspiracy claim. Conspiracy, people agreeing to break the law. You need 1 or 2 people in an agreement to do that. These younger, less important witnesses are close to power. Right. They were in the room. They were in the room, and while they may not make a lot of money, they're at the seat of power right next to the president, and presidents talk just like chief of staffs talk, and these younger witnesses, these smaller unknown witnesses, just like you saw in the January 6th committee, they have information. They've heard things said, they've seen things done. And that's super important when you're putting together this prosecution where you know conspiracy is going to be there because he's the political mob boss, so he's not getting his fingerprints on everything, but you can weave a network or a narrative that shows that he's leading this criminal narrative, and that coupled with cooperation. See, we haven't talked about cooperation.
The idea they might lean on these guys to say, we won't go after you the same way if you'd give us...
Or we give you a deal, or better yet, we need you because Donald Trump is going to be criminally indicted. There is no future with him. Now, they may believe it, they may be politically loyal and what have you, but at some point in time, political has to hit reality. Okay, these people have families. Are they going to go down for Donald Trump, who has never stood with anybody most of the time, and he's got a long list of people that he's left in the dust, and he's survived and succeeded?